Well, I'm Ewan from ChainGPT. We have got multiple products, and I'll be talking about that a bit in brief. But let's jump into the presentation. Thank you. Just to start with the context, more than 90% of the Web3 projects fail, even after within 1 to 2 years, and even faster these days in the current market. They're despite raising billions, and similarly. Looking back data from 2022 Q2 alone, it was like more than 700 million lost to the schemes, and the trend is still persisting into 2025. Into Q2 2025, there was more than 9 billion raised by Web3 startups, but they are again mostly limited to a small fraction of players. So that also is a bit of context here. And just wanted to talk a bit about the launchpad side. It's not only about the fundraising venues, it's also about the strategic partner for growth, credibility, and exposure. That's what a project should be looking while launching a project, on the launchpad space. Now, definitely when launching a Web3 project, it requires balancing innovation with pragmatism. And there is no fit for all model at the moment, and I don't think there will ever be. So there are multiple factors that we need to consider. The most important one, of course, is the narrative and market positioning. The projects with clear narrative, utility, and vision have attracted more than 5 times more community traction pre-TGE, such as RWA, modular blockchain, just to make sure the narrative is quite clear for the people to understand what exactly they are getting into. We recently launched a project called StateX and RWA project. They are very clear in their narrative. Everyone knew whenever the project was mentioned, they knew that it was the RWA narrative they were diving into. So there was clear utility, and also it showed very strong listing performance at TGE. And similarly, while we are in talks with projects to be launched on ChainGPT pad, we always push projects to refine their storytelling into 3 to 4 simple viral messages that is picky and people can understand what is being delivered. Similarly, from the tokenomics design, it is again another important thing. We need to make sure that there is not significant selling pressure coming at TGE, because TGE often indicates how strong the project is going to be post TGE moving forward into months and bringing the traction. So ideally, we try to keep it between 5 to 10% TTS to be floating, while backed by strong liquidity in the liquidity pool. Similarly, there are while designing the token models, there are multiple factors that we take into consideration, such as it mostly has to be utility driven, like staking, access, governance, farming, buyback and bond, revenue linked utility, and more importantly, there has to be immediate perceived value for the users when they are getting into a project. We as a launchpad, we help in designing the tokenomics that align with the current market, its market sentiment, utility, their business model, and the overall community tracks. And based on that, we try to make sure things like the tokenomics is in the right spot. We also have found that the projects with more than 100K organic community followers in the socials like Telegram and Twitter, they show 3 to 5 times strong price retention in the first 30 days of their TGE. We, as a launchpad, we help to orchestrate the InfoFi campaigns, airdrops, quests, gamified campaigns, and strategic KOL onboarding when we launch a project on any launchpad. Let's say it's not only about ChainGPT, but overall the launchpad space. Recently, we have launched an InfoFi campaign for Black Mirror that created that had more than 8,000 participants or content creators, I would say, with more than 14,000 unique posts created on ads, 16,000 token holders added, on-chain token holders, which is a very strong KPI for any new projects to have. Similarly, there were followers in the ads that were added, and impressions and engagements were also significantly increased. So Info5 campaign is also doing good at the moment if any project would want to launch and create the virality around the project, especially when it is close to the TGE. So yeah, can you? And also, it's also important to have the liquidity, like right amount of liquidity in place, considering the initial market cap. Similarly, at the right centralized exchanges to be onboarded, and all these things based on the FTP, the community, post-TG traction, potential traction, what it's going to be like, the onboarded KOLs and all these things. So this is also another key factor in determining the success of the Web3 project. Yeah, next. Again, a strategic partnership and ecosystem fit is also one very strong component of making sure that the project's launch is successful in Web3. Recently we have seen that many projects that have tier 1 backers have shown tendency to do better compared to the projects, even having better products than the projects that have that did well with tier 1 backers. So having tier 1 backers on board is very important in the current market, so that it's from perception point of view, it looks like a bullish or like good project. Similarly, the projects also should be able to leverage the ecosystem grants they are building, like especially from the chain perspective which they are building on, and also integrate the required networks and chain whatever is relevant for their product and the token. And also, especially while working with any partners during the launch of the project, it's very important that the projects to focus on user acquisition rather than just announcements and fundraising and such. So this is something that we see often missing, like projects have multiple partners in place, but the key thing that they miss to do is they miss to acquire the users that those partners have. So that is also very important thing to consider. From Launchpad's point of view, we try projects to introduce to the VCs, to the different ecosystems, different backers, different projects, different KOLs, whatever is needed. So yeah, that's from a strategic partnership and ecosystem point of view. Now also it is important to look into post-launch growth and utility. Projects that have shipped the MVP or product close towards the TGE have shown to have good retention of the traction post TGE as well. So project always should aim at tokenizing the product when the product is live or ready to at least at least the MVP is ready, so that there will be a strong perception of the project being very strong. Now, of course, Launchpad's post-TG can help with community updates, connection with partners, integration, and anything that is needed that are within the range of Launchpad capacity. Also, regulatory and compliance awareness are also key factors as there is growing, increasing importance of the regulations and legal side. So the project should always aim at taking those things into consideration. Now from Launchpad side, we can help structure the token sales legally, like being KYC, AML, geo restriction, everything, like whatever compliance is needed, we can make it happen while doing the token sale. Now, this is the final thing, like launching a Web3 project is about balancing narrative, tokenomics, liquidity, partners, backers, and community. Doing it in a correct way often brings a lot of success for the project. Now, projects that partner with the right launch pads, they don't only launch the token, they launch their ecosystem. That is what, whenever a project is trying to tap into a launch pad, they need to think from that perspective. So it's not only about fundraising, it's more about launching your whole ecosystem and bringing it to the community that the launch pads have. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for, I just kept it short, so yeah, thank you.